Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we're discussing a 2022 limited edition of 500 pieces, a tribute both to the original 1997 Sinn EZM 1 and the 2017 reissue, the 1.1. This is different from the 1.1 in that it uses a hard black coating over a tegimented steel base. And of course, there are many differences between this and the 1997 watch, which was 40 millimeters in titanium and designed for the German Federal Customs Enforcement Unit, the ZUZ. So this is a timepiece that is based both on modern technology and historical design tropes. It's bigger, 43 millimeters in diameter, 16.7 millimeters thick. It is 49.2 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. And I should mention, for those of you who might be new to the channel, I owned the original Sinn EZM 1.1 from 2017 for over 4 years. I wore it every day, so I can easily recommend this watch for a 16 centimeter circumference wrist. Maybe not a whole lot smaller, but you could probably get away with a 15 centimeter circumference wrist and wear this watch quite comfortably, especially on the leather strap as opposed to the silicone strap. You can see that it is quite thick though. It's not going to fit underneath the cuff. Taking a look at the strap, you can see it references 25 years of the Einsatzeit Messer, the mission timer series that started in 97 with the original EZM 1. And the strap here is calfskin and buttery soft. Even though it's a brand new Sinn strap with a nice contrasting binding stitch, it feels as though it's broken in. And this was also how my EZM 1.1 strap felt. Mine was black calfskin. Sinn straps are remarkably supple, smooth, soft, and buttery. For a company with such a hard-edged techno watch, tactical watch, pilot's watch image, it really does make wonderfully comfortable and luxurious straps. You could see that even the buckle here is tegimented, that is hardened steel with a super hard black coating on top. A little bit of background on what this tegiment thing is all about. It's carbon diffusion. It's diffusion of carbon into the steel and penetrates several microns down. And it creates a surface hardness of 1200 Vickers that's comparable to some ceramics. So it becomes very, very hard, scratch, and dent resistant. Now, Sinn also uses a 2000 Vickers hard black coating, but it only uses it over tegimented bases, because what it's found is that on watches that have a super hard coating, like a DLC, if the underlying metal is so soft that it'll be dented by an impact, then the force of the impact is transferred from the hard black coating through to the base metal, which dents, causing the brittle and ultra-hard black to collapse like an eggshell on top of it. But if you have an ultra-hard substrate, then the hard black will never fracture because it can never be flexed. It can never be moved laterally in a way that would cause its structure to fracture. So as long as it doesn't physically move, it can withstand a tremendous amount of impact force without scratching. And that's why the tegiment is used underneath. We have the distinctive faceted lugs of the EZM 1 and 1.1. They're broken out from the case band. They're hugely angular, and they have a rather delicate beveling on them that's a little bit unexpected. SUG is Sinn's proprietary case maker. They own it. They make their own cases, and you can see that this bidirectional countdown bezel features captive bezel construction. So you have these little screws, and the screws fix the bezel to the case so it can't be snapped off accidentally by impact. And that's the idea. It takes a little bit longer to disassemble the watch, but it's all to your advantage as the owner because it's harder to separate the bezel involuntarily. The bezel insert is aluminum, so it can never shatter. Ceramic's very scratch resistant, but can also shatter. This bezel insert cannot. Bidirectional bezel, 60 click, very mechanical. And whereas the chronograph is a count up timer, you can see that the bezel is a count down timer from 50 down to 0. There is plenty of luminescence here. As you can see, not just the hours and the minutes loomed, but the chronograph hands are loomed as well. This is a 7750 or Sellita SW500 architecture. They're basically the same movement, but it's been modified in-house by Sinn to become the SZ01, which is designed to work like the old Lamagna 5100 of the original EZM 1. That featured a radial 60 seconds hand and a radial 60 minutes hand. And you just saw a moment ago that this is a rework for a jumping 60 minutes. The original Lamagna 5100 would have been a dragging minute hand. This is a semi-instantaneous jump. So it's a twin register chrono. It just doesn't have any chronograph registers. You have here your seconds, you have here your minutes. The other thing too is that it is a lefty. Now it's an ambidextrous watch. Again, I'm a righty, I wear it every day, and you operate it like this. So it's a little bit different. Also important to note is that the watch does feature a screw-down crown and 200-meter water resistance, so it is extremely watertight, and they use what they call the D3 system for internally sleeving the chronograph pushers, which makes them more resilient against damage. The other thing that I like is that they fill the case with nitrogen. I know it says AR, and that's argon. Originally it was. They kept the AR logo, but they converted the system to nitrogen, so nitrogen is inserted into the case at the point of manufacture to displace moisture, dust, and impurities. And then this little copper sulfate capsule goes in the side. The copper sulfate actively pulls moisture out of the inside of the case if any gets in. Over time, it'll turn from white, which it is now, to dark blue. When it's dark blue, it comes out and puts a new one in when the watch goes in for service. And that's important because this can be serviced and updated over time. Inside, we have that SZ01 movement, and it is a unidirectional winder like a 7750, automatic 42-hour power reserve. It features a quick set date, hacking or stop seconds, a 4 Hz beat rate, 25 pivot joules, and it is a tank tough tractor movement. It has been extensively reworked mechanically for this particular interface that Sinn has designed and this unique chronograph system. One more note about the location of the crowns. A lot of people ask, why was it a lefty? Well, the idea here being that if you are a righty, and most German customs enforcement service members are, when you're holding a rifle, your left hand is going to be in this position. And if you have the right hand shape and range of motion, the crown and the pushers can gouge your wrist when you're holding that rifle. So that's why the crowns are all located over at the 9 o'clock side. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com if you love this watch, and know that it comes with a very deluxe boxed set, including tools, extra spring bars, and a separate silicone black uncut strap that comes with a hard black and tegimented deployant clasp that includes a dive extension, so you get a lot when you get this Sinn. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing.